Good morning, lacrosse fans. Welcome back inside the track here in Oakville, Ontario, as we kick off day 2 of the President's Cup. Jake Elliott, Brian Shanahan with you here this morning for this opening game, as the 1-1 Muskies take on the 1-0 Six Nations Rivermen. Muskies in black, Rivermen in white, and teams are set to go. Blow the whistle, let's play some lacrosse.
And Jake, what a tough run this is for the Muskies.
My goodness.
Third game in like less than 30 hours.
They played 2 yesterday, and then they get the morning game here today. We'll see how the Muskies do after an impressive performance from Six Nations yesterday over the Ontario champions, and a 5-4 victory, backstopped by an exceptional game from Dusty Hill.
It sure was. And, in some ways it's impressive to hold the Oakville Rock to 4 goals, but not a lot of scoring from Six Nations either, though.
Yeah, you only allow 5. You figure you're going to win that game, but not the case for Oakville, as they find themselves 0-1 to start the President's Cup. As a quick shot on goal as Nick Demude gets the start here once again for the Muskies. And the Muskies pretty good in their opener, 10-7 over Tuscarora, followed up by an 8-6 loss against the Mohawks of Kahnawake yesterday. And there was a game, Shenny, where I think it really could have gone either way. It was back and forth for most of the evening. A late empty netter gives them a 2-goal win. But the Muskies right in there with it and playing their second game of the day.
Oh, they were. I watched the game. I know, Jake, you and Patty did that game. It was a fun game to watch. But, yeah, they were right in it. That game could have gone either way. Really tough for a team with a tough schedule. Looks like they're going to take a penalty now.
Well, maybe the most surprising thing out of all that, Vaughn Harris in the lineup here for the Muskies today after he went down in the first period with an apparent ankle injury, but back in the lineup here for Snake Island this morning. So good news for them as they get one of their best righties. He was the player of the game in their opener.
Yeah, I did their opener game, and yes, he well-deserving player of the game. Nice outside shot, inside game. He was their most dangerous shooter with 3 goals in that game. So it's good to have him back. Shenny,
I know you're a stander. I'm a sitter, clearly, but your massive forearms when you're leaning out on the glass are blocking half the playing surface on my eyeballs.
I'll try to keep my big arms out of the way.
I appreciate it, man. Power play time here for Six Nations early in this one. As a loaded schedule here on day 2 is another game actually going on behind us here at the track as the Miners and Tomahawks get after it. We'll keep you posted on that one, or if you want to flip around, you can check out the second YouTube channel here on the JVI Sports Network. As Nick Demude with another stop, Luke Magnum will outlet quickly.
And that was a nice save. Goddard tried to go for the 5-hole, and I think Demude has played fantastic in what I've seen so far in this tournament. He looks like he's one of their most valuable players.
Well, certainly you give him a bit of a smaller net and that wooden goal stick between his legs as well, and he's a tough goaltender to beat here at the President's Cup. And we mentioned Dustin Hill, the performance that he had, just 4 goals, was named the player of the game in Six Nations opener.
And looking at him here from this angle, you see he's another big boy that fills the net. I'm not really sure Dustin Hill's style. I haven't seen him a lot, but Demude yesterday watching him, he doesn't come out far. He stays in the net and forces players to pick corners if they're going to beat him with the long shots.
Quick turnover here, shorthanded for the Muskies, but a nice little check on the stick there to knock it free momentarily. And again, good defense from Lane Smith to cause the turnover. But what do we got here? Another penalty call coming?
It looks like they're opening the door this time. Six Nations, I believe.
I think it's Goddard that's going to go. No, he's going to step on the bench.
You got to think it would likely be too many men.
And they got the penalty box open. It will be a bench minor. You are correct, Brian. So 4-on-4 lacrosse here for 43 seconds. And
what are the odds on having a goal here, 4-on-4? I love 4-on-4 lacrosse.
Me too. And that, we talked a lot about the Lacrosse Canada rules and them not playing the 8-second, the back over, and all the rest of it. This is the one side of things that
like
taking the manpower off on coincidental minors. This is not the case here, but they will do that if there are coincidentals. As Keogh tried to find the 5-hole.
Almost did. I think that was just too sharp a bounce. It bounced straight up into Hill's legs. But you're right. I love the 4-on-4.
Even 3-on-3 from time to time is fun to watch. Ball far side. Lots of turf out there right now. As Wesley Whitlow draws into the lineup. He did not play in their opener. And a good outlet on the bounce here for Briar Jonathan. So now it's a Muskies power play. As they bring out the big guns here, Joe Reziteritz, who leads the tournament in scoring after one day of competition. Skylar Thomas tucking in and look for the far side. Good save there for Dusty Hill off the shoulder, and a reset on the shot clock here for Snake Island. Pass came high for Harris, and just kind of watching Vaughn run here. No back over, remember, when you're on the man up. So that's not going to be a turnover, as here's Harris. Reziteritz, the low drive, and he missed the goal by 1.5 feet.
But
Still
right.
time on the shot
Here's
clock.
2 instances where that rule would have turned over the ball.
And now Harris bails to the Muskies bench with it being late in the shot clock, and that possession will come up empty. And now chance here for Six Nations.
The righties on this Muskies team, especially on the power play, you got Rezitaris, you got Keogh, you've got Vaughn Harris.
Yeah.
You've got some big shooters out there.
Well, each and every team
and
really
Chris Atwood's a pretty good shooter too.
Has some stars throughout their roster here. A lot of talent at the President's Cup in 2023. Penalty time just about over, and now we'll get a moving pick call here on Six Nations, and it may be a little bit more than that.
A penalty, yeah.
Elijah Brown with a little too aggressive of a pick on the back there, and he's off to the penalty box now, so it'll be a brief two-man advantage. Just 5 seconds to work with in that.
You know, it's a fine line. I like to see the aggressive picks, and I like the teams always see how far they can push the envelope. But, once in a while, and this is the second time I've seen it in a tournament, referee's not just calling a possession, he's calling a penalty.
I'm surprised to hear you say that as a former defender, getting cross-check in the back or the hip, the aggressive picks.
You know what I used to do though, if I get hit from behind, I'd take that momentum to hammer somebody without the ball. So hey, it wasn't me. I was pushed into him.
Of course. Quick shot there and a good stop for Dusty Hill as he got across quickly.
And I think this is the advantage of goalies that stay in their net. And it's easier to do when you're a big goalie, you know, as opposed to a guy like Dylan Ward comes way up at the crease. And if you get a backdoor open on him, it's in the net. But both of these goalies like to stay right in the net. It's great for the backdoor plays.
Whitlow give and go with Goddard. As ball will go into the corner, and then it popped out in front. And a pretty good chance there, but goaltender sharp to start this one as we're across the 5-minute mark. Still on the power play here for the Muskies for the next minute or so.
Yeah, Rezitaris has got to get a shot on this power play. He's maybe the most dangerous shooter, hasn't had a shot yet.
One of the pickups here after the Muskies defeated the Bucks. And tough handcuff pass there for Joey. He'll get it inside. Look out there as Keogh goes between the legs. And that one goes wide. You can try that here at the President's Cup. I don't know if you want to pull that off in Toronto Rock season or not, but Keogh definitely with the flair for the dramatic.
I heard you and Patty talking about his big fishnet stick yesterday.
He's got a sock on that thing, does he? 10 on the shot clock here. And what will get here again?
That was a nice slash, and no call on it.
A little feeling early in the morning here. Not sure everybody got their coffee into him before this one. A little ornery to start day 2. As being hammered up along the glass there is Rivera, the junior B call-up, who does not shy away from contact for the young man.
I just know. And he's not a big guy either, but he's
fearless.
Not shy at all.
Tyler Hulls will dish off, and just seconds remaining here on the power play. And now you got to be aware of the man coming out of the penalty box.
Yeah, is it worth it to take a shot? They don't even have all their guys on.
And he's just going to go down the other end of the floor here. The Muskies are aware as Keogh will come up top. Skip feed into the corner. Keogh cutting through. The pass was there off the top of his stick, however. And late in the clock now, and they do register a shot, but he'll able to make the stop rather easily. As Corbett will come on ahead. Elijah Brown looks for a shooting lane. Now drives inside, got the corkscrew off. Another chance there, and Daymud in front of that one as well. Lead feed up. And it's on the mark here to Rice. In he comes and scores. Brian Rice opens the scoring. Muskies take the lead 1-0.
Yeah, and one of the things I always say I like about lacrosse is how the play can go from one end to the other so quick. And it starts with a Damude save. Ball's picked up, thrown straight off the floor. And Rice puts it in.
A little room to the 5-hole there. And Brian Rice with his 4th of the tournament, 2nd in Muskie scoring. And right up there in the tournament lead as well, as of course the Muskies, the lone team to play 2 games yesterday, as both Tuscarora and Six Nations will play twice here on day 2. You ever win a President's Cup, Ryan? You must have one.
No, I played in a President's Cup, just one with the Owen Sound Woodsman, I believe, back in early 2000s. But
right.
I'll tell
Too
you,
busy winning Man Cups,
yes,
I guess.
exactly.
Too busy
but you know
winning Man
what?
Cups, yeah.
I hate to say it, it's a tougher tournament than the Man
Well,
Cup.
I always tell people, a lot of people claim that the Minto the toughest one to win because you only get 3 and potentially now 5 years to do it. But for me, like the week-long grind here at the Prezi, there is nothing more difficult in box lacrosse than this one right here.
And
wood sticks, all the rest of it. 2 days.
I think in my mind the Man Cup is the trophy you really want to win, but I still think this is a tougher tournament, and it's a war of attrition. It's 2 games in 1 day.
And in recent years, I would say probably Shanny, the last 5 or so, we're seeing more and more talent come into the Senior B. Like, it's not a pure, quote, Senior B tournament
It's not really
anymore.
like a level below,
No.
And the year I played, we stumbled in that tournament, heavily injured, and then we're meeting teams. I remember we were playing a team, I think it was from Burnaby. They pick up, Chris Gill and Russ Hurd. It's like, oh, my gosh.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Another stop there for Dusty. And a good run here for Corbett. And send it wide. Look out. A riser right up into the mask at Damude, who shakes that off nonchalantly.
And, I mentioned, I was talking to, I think it was somebody from Ladner, one of the management, and there's risk. You want to rest guys if you can. But he told me one year when they didn't put in their best lineup against one of the weaker teams, and they lost.
Cost them.
Yeah, exactly. And that cost them the chance at a gold medal. So you got to be really careful.
Yeah, you do. There's a couple of changes. Look out. That one sneaks through for Hewitt. And it's 2-0 Muskies, as we didn't see Dusty Hill let any of those type of goals in yesterday.
That was one he'd like to have back. Outside shot, and, almost off the back foot, not a hard one. It looked like he was set for it, but somehow squeezed in between his legs.
Muskies will take it, and they'll take a 2-0 lead as helmet pats all around from shooter Sanderson over there, as he works with Galiwade Mitchell on that Muskies bench, as the Eagle staff hangs above once again. And who knows, that Eagle staff could have helped Von Harris make his return here to the Muskie lineup today.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on him to see. He definitely,
the way he walked off the floor yesterday, it was not looking good. Trainer's obviously doing some good work, and we're going to get more penalties here. It looks like Tyler Halls will be escorted along with, I think one each here.
They got 2 doors open.
So it's Tyler Halls and it's Stanton Miller who will have a seat in the penalty box here. And now we will get some true 4-on-4 here for the next 2 minutes. Firth, Thomas, Keogh, and Harris, the 4 attackers out here for the Muskies. And this is Von Harris. And pretty good cut right there. Does not look like he is favoring that leg whatsoever. No. And gets a shot off that Hill able to stop. Reset the shot clock here for Skylar Thomas. He'll take his man out wide as they look to isolate the lefty. He is quick and shifty. And passes high to Firth. He'll back away. Now dart into the middle, and a stick save there for Dusty Hill. And now with a little room down the other end, Six Nations will get their opportunity, looking for their first goal of the game as Whitlow will get the pass. And it'll be dispossessed. And then bouncing off a check there hard was Lane Smith. Goddard tried to redirect it. And the Muskies have it. And a long feed up on the mark. Rezaterit's in behind everybody. Tried to bring it in one-handed.
Oh, my.
And the pass a little off the mark there from Zach Deacon.
That was almost a beauty.
You got to put it on the stick there if you're Deacon for Rezaterit's. Wayne Hill can't come up with a loose ball. Luke Magnum can.
Yeah, yesterday in the first game, Magnan had a breakaway and then a goal later in the game. Great defender. You don't really expect that from him. But he picks his spots now and again.
Here's Firth. Rezaterit's demands the ball as he'll tuck inside. Got a weak shot off. No trouble for Hill there. As they're late to reset the 30 and finally do. As we are officially back to 5-on-5 and under 8 minutes to go here in the first period with the Muskies of Snake Island leading the Rivermen of Six Nations 2-0. As day 2 underway here at the President's Cup. Shot just caught out of midair there. That was impressive.
Who caught that? I lost that ball in there. Was that a defender? Got a stick?
My man Joe Hall snagging that one out of the air. Who I think is, I don't know, I tried to ask Joe this. I think he's missed a couple over the years, but I'm talking like 16, 17 President's Cups appearances here for Joe Hall.
Oh, my gosh.
Just unbelievable. Chance to the top of the crease and a crease call. As Joe did not play in the second game of the day for the Muskies. He's back in there, though.
I ran into his granddad before the game, was telling me, watch number 11.
Certainly keep an eye on him. There's a drive out to the wide side there for Lane Smith. And the Rivermen get one to go on their 9th shot of the game. Their 13th shot of the game. And they're on the board here 2-1.
And that's big Wayne Hill does the swim move. Or sorry, he doesn't do the swim move. He cashes in front of the net, shoots it short side on Daymood.
As Hill did not play in the opener, as did Whitlow. But both in there for Six Nations today. And we got a 2-1 game.
Big
with
man, 260 pounds, 6'1".
Man after my own heart, Ryan.
Yeah.
I think I was probably a little above that.
I was going to say, I just called him a big man, and you were about to say, what do you mean, little guy?
I was that in grade 6. Muskies come up with the ball after the faceoff.
We don't call you Jumbo for nothing.
That's right. They call me Lagawano back on the Akwesasne Reservation. That's Jumbo and Mohawk.
Oh, very good.
Lagawano. Here's Rezaterit's, and he had room down low. Good stop there for Hill as he got a toe on that one. As Martin, who was very prominent for Six Nations, gets a pass off, and you might want to reconsider that shot. Back the other way we go. Chance in front. Oh, Dusty Hill with a shoulder stop. As reverse transition, almost cashing in there, was Atwood.
Great hustle by Atwood to get that loose ball after the scoring opportunity.
As he did not play in the second game for Snake Island either. So he should be a little fresher than most. As Briar Jonathan, Joe Hall whips a pass across. This is Vaughn Harris loading, and a high rocket. Missed everything as it'll ricochet down the floor. Hall after it there, outraced by Corbett, and he put it over top of the goal.
A couple of great transition opportunities, but not the greatest shooting from Six Nations the last 2 times up the floor.
As we approach 5 minutes to go here in the first period, 2-1 Snake Island. And with possession is Stephen Keogh off the half boards. Stops up, got a pick there from Rezaterit's, but the defense was good for the Rivermen as they knocked the ball loose.
You know, you got to wonder if fatigue will set in for Snake Island. You know, maybe Six Nations would be wise running that ball hard up the floor every time they get it.
Well, I thought they did a good job of that against Oakville in the opening couple of periods as well. And for Snake Island, you know they want to kind of try and build a lead here if they can, because that could play a factor. They got numbers coming in here. Chance scores. Jerry Stotts doesn't score many, but he gets a big one here in the first period, and the Muskies go back up by 2.
Yeah, you know, I mentioned yesterday that when I asked about the defensive players, top defensive players, Josh Sanderson, first guy he mentioned was Jerry Stotts. And he's not on the team for those goals, but they love the bonus when a defender can run up the floor and pick a corner like that.
Yeah, when you mention the name Stotts, you're not
usually thinking scoring.
Well, yeah, you're thinking goals and assists and highlight reel plays with Audie and Randy. Jerry showing he can get it done in transition.
You know, and it's funny, too, like in the first game we did yesterday, Snake Island, Tuscarora. Late in the game, you know, Snake Island kind of turned off the offense, but the defenders never let up.
Yeah.
Guys like Stotts, Luke Magnan, they were just pounding right up to the bitter end.
Well, and Pat and I were talking about yesterday as well, is like all those slashes and cross-checks throughout the week, they add up. By the time you get to the weekend, you feel all those by the end of the week. Ouch. Ooh. And you'll feel that one a little later today as well, as right in the backside there. As getting pegged with that shot was Elijah Brown.
And, you know, and you're absolutely right, and I think that's a good strategy. If you got good, tough defense, pound. It might not make a difference in that game, but you're right, it adds up.
Good chance through the middle. As Jake Rice, another one of those players that did not play in the nightcap yesterday for the Muskies. Is one thing about the Muskies and the Rivermen, for that matter, is they've been to this tournament for many years, and they know how to get through a week like this here at the President's Cup, how to utilize and manage their roster.
Yeah, I was thinking that word right there, manage, how to manage it.
There's the sniper, Jerry Stotts.
And that's probably looks like, you know, they tweak the lineup a little bit every day, and that's probably, you know, keeping a few guys fresh.
Here's Thomas down to the crease. Chance for Firth, and he stepped in.
Oh, they call it crease, yeah.
And man, oh man.
And I don't think Firth has scored a goal yet. And neither has Thomas. Both of those guys, good offensive players, but they haven't been getting the goals from their lefties, the Snake Island.
The day is young. The tournament is early. As we go under 3 minutes to go here in the first period. Wayne Smith on the tuck and go. A reaching shot there wide of the goal with 6 on the shot clock. Don't want to take interference here as the Ribbons start to bail to the bench. Magnum will knock it ahead. He'll run onto it. No numbers here for Snake Island, however. As Brian Rice will come in. And the pass for Halls off it. Nice handle there for Halls. Finds Reza Terrence. Oh, what a play. Clip it. Watch the handle here from Tyler Halls, the old Haudenosaunee whipper, as he just twirls it one-handed to come up with it and then finds Reza Terrence in front of the net.
I mean, that's an absolutely beautiful goal. And you're right. Give Halls a ton of credit for that.
I don't want to give him too much because he dropped a pretty easy pass to begin with, but then he got it back.
But it looked like, he killed the play, and then he steals that ball back, and Reza Terrace just no mistake when he's in that close.
And the Rivermen will call timeout here, will Corey Bomberry and company, as they find themselves down 3 here to the Muskies. And how about the effort here for the Muskies? Like we mentioned, playing 2 games yesterday, including the night game, and then the quick turnaround this morning. And they jump out to a 4-1 lead here over Six Nations.
Yeah, they got to love that. I know lots of game left.
But a lot of people wondering, how did this team get past what was a loaded Akwesasne Bucks roster? And I think you're getting a little bit of a taste of it right here. Some solid goaltending from Daymud and just a well-balanced roster from back to front here.
Yeah, and obviously well coached too with, Mitchell and Josh Sanderson. And
absolutely. Got Stacy over there as well. As the Rivermen can't come up with the face-off. it'll be the Muskies with another possession. Joe Hall posts up. 10 on the shot clock. Hall looks back door. Pass got through. Late in the clock here. Got to make something happen with 5. And from the wrong side, and that one caught iron. As Atwood let it fly and almost found the top corner.
And an important reset for the Muskies against a tired defense.
And now here's where you want to make the defense work after getting that reset after a long shift to D. Atwood. Keogh working with Harris. He'll kick him the ball. Harris, sidearm. And big rebound here from Hills. It'll roll back towards his crease. And the Riverman goaltender will pounce on top of that one. So with 90 seconds here to go in the period and the Rivermen down 3, they'll get a crack on offense here trying to cut into this deficit. Whitlow. Rivera. Good spin move. Shot wide by about a foot. And another drive comes in, and David will eat that up all day long.
Oh, this is what he was doing yesterday.
Yeah, I don't like that.
No, and I talked to the
I get why he's
referee
doing
and chief,
it, but I don't like it.
Yeah, he said technically the rule is you got to leave it there forever, but he says I think he's going to instruct the referees just to blow the whistle to start.
Well, the other thing, the defender can just put a
touch
stick.
it. Yeah. But if there's no defender there.
No. And that's why he's standing with his back to it to try and protect it.
It's almost like a loophole in the rules.
Well, don't get me going here, Shenny. It's too early. Firth will run out of time on the shot clock. 38 seconds to go. They've already called their timeout. But this should set up Snake Island here for the final possession, potentially. As Corbett will stay out there as he accepts a bounce pass. So what do we got? About 7-second differential here between game clock and shot clock. Quick move. A low shot there.
There's a timeout called. Doesn't look like it.
Sanderson says push it ahead. 5 seconds to go. Have a look at the clock. Rice got to get it to the net. And they'll run out of time. And I would have liked to see a timeout there. They didn't call it.
Yeah, but I understand Sanderson.
Lead.
Sometimes you catch a team flat-footed if they expect the timeout.
All right, day 2 nicely underway here as the Muskies will take a 3-goal lead into the locker room here as they lead Six Nations 4-1. Shots on goal 17-16. Muskies. Excuse me, Rivermen. I got the scoreboard backwards. Let's take a break. Let's get some coffee into us, and let's come back for period number 2 right here, the home of the President's Cup, the JVI Sports Network. Welcome back to the President's Cup in Oakville, Ontario. We're at the track, set for the second period. Sego to Aguago, to all the elders and folks back on Akwesasne Reservation in Mohawk territory. It's Jake Elliott and soon to be joined by Brian Shanahan, who will be right back, I'm sure. Hopefully, anyways. I don't know. Maybe Shanny just got sick of broadcasting with me and he took off. No, he's back. I'm just kidding. As blow the whistle, let's play some Dewa Alado as we're underway here in period number 2 as Joe Hall with the face-off win. Welcome back, Shanny.
Oh, thank you very much. And you know, Jumbo, you talked about how the talent in this has improved so much over the years. Well, just evidence of that is all the NLL staff hanging around here scouting players.
Yeah, that's smart.
I'm sure you saw Bob Hamley. I just saw Mike Hazen, Troy Cordonley.
Yeah. Lots of familiar faces around. Saw the captain of the Six Nations Chiefs, Cody Jameson, in the house to watch his Six Nations Rivermen play, as the Chiefs will make their way to the Mann Cup in early September. Who they will play will be determined tomorrow night.
Are you going to be calling that, Jake?
No, I'm not. I'm not making the trip back home to call that one. I'm staying here in Oakville. But I'm calling the Mann Cup, yes,
the
sir.
Mann Cup.
Yeah.
Mann Cup. I know you're not doing Game 7. That'd be a great commute for one game.
Yeah. Mind you, I'd consider it if it was.
Anybody got a private jet for me? And,
maybe Dowek does. He's probably not lending it to me if he does. Speaking of NLL GMs, Jamie Dowek in the house. As look out, that one off the post, off at Damoud, and then wide of the goal. Lead feed here for Magnum off the carpet. And he's got Thomas streaking to the net, but now what do we got? Oh, picking up a whistle in behind us.
Oh, whistle from the other rink, yeah.
By the way, 4-3 Miners over the Tomahawks in that one as they jumped out to the 4-1 lead, and then 2 quick ones from Tuscarora to cut the lead after 1 over there. As a whipper over the top from Hewitt. Good save there for Dusty Hill. As it is a 4-1 lead here for the Muskies of Snake Island. I asked Pat Gregoire this yesterday, Brad. You ever been to Snake Island over there in Akwesasne?
No. I've been to Cornwall. Oh, they call that a goal.
Oh, my. Let's get a replay of this, please, and thank you. As that one was in and out in a hurry. I'm not sure it ever crossed the goal line.
I didn't think so in real time, but we'll see. The referee was right there. Sam Firth.
0 for 3 yesterday on these replays. And,
you know what?
I think you're right.
I think it did go in. Yeah.
Good call there from the official. Once again, bad call by yours truly.
Well, I'll tell you, he's got a better angle than you do.
That's true.
And
probably got better eyeballs, too. So 5-1 Muskies now. You got some stats from period number 1 there?
You know what? I think they said Deacon scored that goal. Wasn't that Sam Firth?
It was.
It was, okay.
Yeah, definitely not Deacon.
Yeah, there have been a few mistakes on the stats, but what I've got is 4 different goal scorers for Snake Island, including
that's a great sign.
Stotts, Brian Rice, Josh Hewitt, and Joey Rez.
And now you can add
Sam Firth, who I just said last period had not scored a goal yet this tournament.
Nice little premonition there. As this man here in Martin had a goal yesterday in transition. And he'll stay out there for a shift of offense as Danton Miller out there will join him on this near side. Miller looking for a shot. He'll go to Rivera. He'll make the turn as Whitlow will back away. Now go set the pick. Rivera on the pick and roll. Comes down to the crease for Brown late in the clock. And watching this Riverman team here, and I know we got a long way to go in it, Shenny, but this does not look like the team I watched last night against Oakville. Much slower pace and a little just off a bit, dropping passes and not the spacing, not great here offensively. And Dusty Hill not quite on top of his game like he was against the Rock.
Yeah, and I think it's too early to be getting concerned about that, but in how many periods now? 4 periods, and they've only scored 6 goals.
There's another giveaway this time from Hill as he tried to start the transition. Not that we got to give Snake Island some credit here as well.
I really like their defense, their goaltending. Their game in the back end is very strong, and I'm not even mentioning the offensive players who are pretty impressive too.
Over the shoulder there for Rezzaterra, just missed. Maybe one more chance to come here for Thomas, sneaking one through. Hill with a confident stop there. Mike McLaughlin will pull up inside center as the Riverman offense comes out. There's Wayne Smith. Long drive, and that's not going to get the job done as it stays in play here for Magna. He's got a player up ahead, and they come on a breakaway, and Dusty Hill with the save. And an important one there off of Miles Jacobs to keep this a 5-1 game. And you kind of feel like if Jacobs gets that one to go, the gates might just open. Here's Briar Jonathan with a potential 2-on-1. He'll fire. Good save again for Hill.
That was a good save. That was a good shot from the wrong side of the floor. Down low, he got a piece of it on his foot.
Sanderson asking for talk on the back end from his defensive unit as the Rivermen work in. Powering his way inside the dotted circle. Got a high shot off, but it'll end up in the crease.
I know that shot was deflected, but Nations can't be happy with their shooting, particularly with the big rebounds.
Rice! He's got two. And the Muskies are just running the Rivermen out of the joint right now.
Well, yeah, we're only 6 minutes in this period, and we've seen, 3 great scoring chances on transition for the Muskies.
They look like the fresher team.
They do. I mean, as I mentioned, that last shot went high and wide, but it was deflected. Give them a break on that. But Muskies again get the ball quickly up the floor, running hard, and they don't look like the team that has played 3 games in less than 30 hours.
6-1 here, and we're going to get a goaltending change, Brian Shanahan, as Troy Holochuk will come into the game. And it's another thing we got here at the President's Cup this year is a lot of good goaltenders.
Yeah, Holochuk played for the Toronto Rock as a backup, and
you got Aaron Bold, you got Del Bianco, you got Cam McLeod. There is some top-level goaltending right across the ledger here at the present. And of course, Nick Damon, who has only allowed 1 goal so far.
And I know he didn't get the win yesterday, but I think, from what I've seen so far, he's been the best goalie. Allowed
8 against the Mohawks, 7 against the Tomahawks. And he's got the Rivermen stuck on 1 here, 6 minutes into the second period. Feet of the crease, and another stop for David.
Did he get a glove on that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice save.
The Muskies away with the pill. And Jerry Stutz, who's got one of the 6 here for Snake Island today.
That was a real smart play by Tyler Halls. That loose ball with 2 guys coming at him. Instead of trying to pick it up, he just scooped it up to one of his teammates. Very calm under a lot of pressure.
Tell you what, Joe Hall loving the second period here on the visitors' bench for the Muskies. Just step off, you're right into the offensive zone. And the short change as well. Shot clock violation on Snake Island. Long feet up, right on the mark. Oh, man. Eric Martin unable to bring in the original feed as he was in behind everybody and had a clear-cut breakaway and just dropped it. But the Rivermen will hang on to possession and have 13 to work with here on the shot clock. For Riley Johnson, that shot high. Rebound off the crossbar as Whitlow looking for the dip and dunk. But they come up empty once again, and the Muskies have it.
Yeah, another high shot. This time the big rebound went back to Six Nations. And you're right, I didn't think he had a great angle, but put that off the bar.
Jake Rice out. Atwood as well as he'll come towards the ball. Skylar Thomas with it. Now Atwood. Room. Skip feed. Rice pulled the trigger. Shot it wide. Shot clock down to 0. Rivermen pick it up quickly. No opportunity in transition, so they'll work in possession here with 12.5 to go in the second now. As we have the 10 o'clock start here today, it normally would have been an 11 o'clock start. But with 2 games going on in the 10 o'clock window 4 locker rooms obviously being used up
Yeah.
here at the track, and they wanted to give teams an extra hour to clear out for the new teams to come in. So our next start time will be at 2 o'clock. 5 o'clock, then 8 o'clock to round out day 2.
And how was your jet lag? I know you just arrived yesterday.
I got a coffee in me here. I'm still a little foggy, but we'll get through it, and it'll get better each day, I'm sure. No excuses here at the President's Cup. Vaughn Harris. We'll go to Reza Terrence on the wrong side of the floor. Back to Vaughn. And now Keel. 10 on the shot clock for Steve Keel. Searching for an opening. And now Firth across the top. Room for Firth and hit the post. Little corkscrew there and had it past Holochuk, but not the red iron. Numbers here maybe. And Whitlow will have to pick it up in the corner and was a little cavalier with it. He'll get it back, however, right near the side of the crease.
I'm really liking this defense. Nate Woods got his stick on that pass. Took away a scoring opportunity.
There's Martin. And Damoud, another confident stop. That's the Muskie's goaltender going with the old hidden ball trick.
Fooled me for a second.
I don't know if that's why. Maybe it does, but tough to do with the wooden goal stick. A lot of pocket to look into there.
And speaking of wooden sticks, I know you guys mentioned the number of guys I've seen using the woodies out here.
But I would say, Shannon, using it the right way.
Yes.
Not as a weapon by any means.
Yes.
And I mean, it is a physical deterrent, but you're not swinging that thing around looking to injure people.
And I hate that it's become known as, you want to hurt somebody. Like I love, and usually when you see a native player using a woody, generally it's a guy who knows how to use it. And that's coming from a guy who played with woodies. You too?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a shot looking 7-hole, and Thomas almost got it to go. Now here's maybe transition for Corbett. Got to body him up, and he does. Nice defensive effort there.
Who was that?
Was that
Magnan?
That was Zach Deacon on the defensive effort.
Deacon, he's a player I like too. Played his junior in Orangeville.
Former captain of the Northmen.
Yeah, can run the ball at the floor, score the odd goal too.
Minto Cup champion. Corner feed, 15 on the clock here for 6-9. Rivera dangling. Deacon picked off. There's the shot, and it squeaks through across the line. Damoud got a big old chunk of it, but not quite enough as it trickles. Never touched net, but across the goal line it goes.
And that's a goal they badly needed. Nothing was going for offense. Not a great angle. Somehow looks like it squeezed through the pads. The last-ditch attempt to keep it out, but it had already crossed the line. See if that goal can give him a little life.
6-2 now as we hit the halfway mark of this game. Yeah, I would say the next goal in this one, a big one. I mean, they're all big, but if they can restore the 5-goal lead, or if Six Nations can get it to 3, that's a big swing. We shall see. They'll get their opportunity here offensively right now. They'll try and generate a little momentum, and Damoud will stop that one. Tyler Halls. A beautiful setup to Reza Terrence in that opening period. There's Joe Hall. Familiar post up, sheds off a check, look for the pick and roll, and it ends up in the crease of Holochuk. As the Rimmen look to run again, here's Rivera off the bench, right in. Damoud with the stop on the crease call anyway. That's a beautiful move there for Rivera. Better stop for Damoud.
I almost wish that they didn't call the crease call because it kind of takes away from the importance of that great save. Stick save. It looked like he had him beat and had the net to put it in. Damoud puts the stick
I will say, as a goaltender, whether it's a crease call or not, is Keogh just missing low. That builds his confidence knowing he made the stop.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
And probably gets in the head a little bit of Rivera as well, knowing even though he stepped in the crease, he still couldn't bury. Shots are just about dead even. Muskies lead that total 28-27, but they're up 4 here looking to go 2-1 after 3 games. Lots of time left, however. And there's a goal. Jordan Goddard on the sub shot, gets it past Damoud, and there's that next goal.
Yep, and that was a clean goal. Damoud never got any of this. This is just a nice outside shot. You look at him calling for that ball. He's got enough room that he can wind up as much as he wants. Looks like it went to the far side.
Yep.
Damoud's left, low, as you guys out west call them, sub shots.
Yes, we do. What do you call them? Just underhand?
Underhands,
All
underhand.
Right.
Or even, we call them undies. You took an undie.
No, not to. I'm never going to do that.
Yeah, that sounds too much like apparel.
Yeah. And
I'll stick with underhand.
Okay. You do that.
I remember very many years ago doing my first games out west with Donnie Taylor.
No, come on.
Sub shot.
Yeah, there you go.
What the heck is a sub shot?
Legend, Don Taylor.
The legend Don Taylor.
Still see him around a rink or two during the summer watching some lacrosse.
Yeah, he was a fan. He wasn't just a job. He loved the game.
Yeah. 7:45 to go. Funny, Don Taylor, when I first got into the business, I was going to school, and one of my assignments was to talk to somebody you kind of looked up to and wanted to, learn from. And Don Taylor was the guy I seeked out to have an interview with.
And
try and make him feel pretty
you probably know as well as I mean, he's just as friendly.
Oh, great guy.
Off the mic as he is when he's on. He's a great guy.
Took me about 2 weeks to run him down to get him to reply to my emails and such, but finally he did, and then we had a great chat.
Oh, that's great. Those were the early days.
We ended up working together.
I was going to say the early days of the Vancouver Ravens.
Yes, indeed. As the ball loose on the carpet here, Magnan will just send a shoulder into Whitlow, but picks up the interference call, so Six Nations will have it. People are probably like, shut up, Jumbo. Quit talking about the West. Let's focus on the game here. And we shall do so. As we got a pretty good one going between the Muskies and the Rivermen.
And it seems to have been a little bit of a momentum shift. Six Nations seems to be playing with a little bit more confidence after getting those 2 fairly quick goals.
It's the Muskies on offense here as Rezaterit's directing traffic. He wants the ball. He's got it now. Double up pick coming. Player knocked down. Rezaterit's will swing it back. Here's Hewitt on the toe drag. Up top to Harris. One more. Firth will send it towards the goal, and Holichuk, since coming in, has yet to let one by him.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Good for him.
6-3. Rivera.
Yeah, I will say I don't think he's really been tested a lot.
No, not with a quality opportunity anyway. There's Hill, and that shot deflecting on the way to Damoud, who will take that in the goal stick. There's Zach Deacon with a slow jog ahead. Here's where that 8-second count not being in play really.
Yeah, and even, how many times have we seen guys pass the ball back into their own end?
Yeah.
I don't want to get you going, though,
No,
Jumbo.
don't do that. Here's Keogh across the way to Firth. A little hesitation, and then Holichuk with a good rebound chance there is denied by Atwood by Troy Holichuk. Tall, lanky goaltender, and pretty active in there as well. And he's made some pretty good stops since coming into the game here. Keeps it a 6-3 score. Harris, as Keogh goes inside, 13 on the shot clock. He'll come back up to set a pick. Now accepts the pass, loads. Holichuk the save, rebound available. And it'll come to the side wall here and be picked up by Six Nations as we go under 5 minutes to go. Martin. As Justin in 23, Eric wearing 28. And now it's Riley Johnson. Wayne Smith, double teamed. Magnan on the clamp, can't get it loose. We do have a penalty call coming. As David makes the stop, but another opportunity here, Brian Shanahan, for a Six Nations power play and a chance to get themselves within 2.
And Smith is a strong guy. He protects that ball very well, and bodies all over him.
And heads up play here from Nick Damoud. With just 5 to go in the period, referee granting a hydration break here. But I think more than anything, this is, let's give our short man a rest here. I'm going to go to the bench for a sip of water.
Yeah, and I think you guys mentioned it yesterday. This is a great facility for box lacrosse with the air conditioning.
Turf.
Yeah. And I remember, like, back in my Man Cup days, it was a huge disadvantage for the Western team coming into Ontario with the humidity. You know, even though it was late August, September.
Ice rink in Brampton that they played on a couple of times. Remember I think it was 92 when they had to put the talcum powder.
Yeah, that was I was in that one. Yeah, that was game. It was the deciding game,
and it was
anything
like that.
Yeah, they didn't want to postpone that game, and they covered the whole rink with that talcum powder.
I've never seen
it.
Was
like strange.
I've seen VHS video of that, and it still blows my mind that they played that.
Troy
game.
Cornley scored the winning goal in overtime.
Yes.
A rebound from a John Tavares shot.
Over the Bellies.
I remember it very well, yes, and that was a great Bellies team, too. A lot of legendary players on that team.
And, of course, you would make your way out to Coquitlam in 93 with that same Brampton team. They lost the first game of that series and then went on to win in 5, if I recall.
I'll tell you a funny story about that in a sec.
That was that was my very first look at John Tavares as a player. And I thought, holy cow, who is this dude?
Oh, gosh.
I remember watching him score on a reverse backhand.
I was just going to bring that up. I remember that. He would do that so casually.
Never seen a shot like that.
I remember that goal you're talking about.
Unbelievable. That was back when he was wearing number 6, Shanny. He hadn't even put on number 11 yet. He was so young.
You know what? What I was going to say is that team of ours, we were so confident. We went at Coquitlam. We got our butts kicked game 1. And I remember Pat Coyle giving an interview with a local reporter saying, this is going to be a tough series, long series, blah, blah, saying all the right things.
Yeah.
As soon as the reporter walked away, he says, we're going to beat them the next 4. And we did.
And you did.
Yeah.
Thomas from long range and Olachuk. Another stop. Still just under a minute to go here in the man advantage for Six Nations. But period 2 starting to wind down here a little bit. 3:20 to go in it. And for the Muskies, I'm thinking if they can carry a 3-goal lead into the third, they'll be feeling pretty good. And if Six Nations can get within 2 heading into the third, they'll be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, still 3 minutes to go. I don't expect there to be no goals in this last 3 minutes.
We shall see. Is that one just missing? Maybe a chance coming here for Rice as he picks it up in flight. Trying to hustle to the bench to create a 2-on-1, but shorthanded, the chance not there. And they'll try and kill some penalty time off now. Down the far side with Firth. They'll bounce back to Keogh. And he'll come near side now to Hewitt. And here's Joe Hall, who will load one up and went for the old skipperoni there and just missed. Hewitt. You guys use that out east, Jenny? Skipperoni? Probably.
Okay. Bit of an argument
face off at
whether
center.
there should be a reset or not. I thought he got the shot away on net in time.
It is Muskie ball, and they'll get a new 30 to go along with it. Reziteritz all day to load and just waited too long. He went into the night, he had all day and took it into the evening.
Somebody got a stick on it. That was a big play this way.
Chance the other way. And did that hit Damu? Doesn't matter. Rivera's got it. They don't reset the shot clock. Six Nations looking for one. It's not coming now. As Rivera will set things up with 12 on the shot clock. Miller. Inside look there for Smith. And now the shot clock down to 3. And the Muskies will hold on defense with 1:49 to go in the period.
And 1 second left to go on the shot clock. Stotts gives a nice slash. That's what we were talking about. There's no let up on some of these guys.
Good handle there, and the bounce pass across here to Harris. There's Firth on the pick and roll with Thomas. Here's Reziteritz to Keogh. Quick feed. Thomas lets it fly. Missed everything. Harris looking short side. Holochuk. The stop. Turns it out of play. New 30 for the Muskies once again.
And Harris, I know he looks, he doesn't look like he's hurting, but he hasn't taken the shots that he was taking yesterday.
Reziteritz, for the most part, I mean, they got to get the ball going through 14 stick one way or the other.
Yeah.
He is that dominant. As Holochuk looking behind him did well enough. 1 minute to go here in the second. We'll get you an update from the red rink in the intermission. As the Miners and Tomahawks battle. As Daymud an easy save here, and here we go again with the old shielding play.
They're calling it. They're starting the count, and I'm glad they do.
Yeah.
So for the fans at home, there's a 5-second count to get the ball out of the crease once the play is started. But what Daymud is trying to do is not start the play. And I think the referees have decided we're starting to play regardless. Regardless of what the rule might say technically.
Yeah.
You know, it's the spirit of the rule.
Well, and that, you know, like the other thing here with Lacrosse Canada rules, the face-off, you're not supposed to clamp off the draw. I don't think they're calling that particularly tightly either. You talk about the crease rules and how it's supposed to be an imaginary cylinder that goes up.
That's one of the rules I prefer the Canadian. I don't like how the NLL has become, you know, a guy can jump straight up and down and pretty much land in front of the goalie.
Yeah,
I think it's become too easy for the goal scorers to score. You know?
But it looks really good when they do it, though.
Yeah, I don't like that. Or even the dunks. I'm not a dunk.
No? Okay, man.
And you know, maybe I'm thinking of a defensive. You know, we were talking about ancient history back when I played, but I'll tell you a funny story about when Josh Sanderson was playing with Orangeville, and I don't remember if it was their first Minto Cup or second. One of the Minto Cups they went out west. It might have been Coquitlam, but I don't remember.
We're going to say.
And I guess they won by a big score in game one, and one of the local media guys says, "Can you guys win in 4? Win the Minto in 4?" He goes, "We could win the Minto in 3." and then the next game was I think it became a very close series. Orangeville did win, but I'm sure Terry Sanders said, "Don't ever do that again."
Yeah, just careful.
He's learned how to talk to the media since then.
As the late great Terry Sanderson's banner hangs here in the truck. As now Josh, how about it for Josh Sanderson, who will now be the head man in Calgary, right where his father
was the assistant back. Was Terry ever the head coach there?
2009, they won a championship with Josh playing. But no, I think it was Cordingley.
Well, Cordingley was the head coach, and I mean Cordingley and Terry were a great duo.
A1 and A2, I would say there. Now we got, what do we got here? Riverman timeout with 2.6 to go. Yeah,
and I wouldn't be surprised if they get an extra second or so on this clock.
We shall see, and it's going to be a bit of a desperation chance, depending on where they start the ball as well. Not a lot of time left. But you can't take the time out to the locker room with you, so you might as well call it here. Did you get delivered the officials this morning? I don't think I got my sheet of paper.
So there's just 2 timeouts a game, correct? And,
you can only call one a period.
One a period, so this is their last timeout of the game.
Oh, correct. You're right. I forgot that they had called one in the first, so I'll take that back. I don't like that timeout call one bit now.
It might have been wiser to save it for the third period.
Yeah.
With a little more time on the clock if they happen to need it.
They will get the ball at center, however. And they're going to put 5.3, 0.1.
No, so that's not bad.
No, there's plenty of time now. So I'll take it back again. I don't mind this timeout now with 5.1 and the ball at center. This is actually a really big possession here to end the second period.
Yeah, and you've got Lane Smith. Looks like the guy who might want it. Got a lot of room.
Here we go. Nope. They jump the ball carrier, and the possession ends right there. So it was 6-1 Muskies, but 2 from the Rivermen have them within 3 with 20 to play. Shots on goal 36-33 in favor of Snake Island, as day 2 is nicely underway here from the President's Cup. 40 down, 20 to go in this one. The Muskies are up 3. We're back here to Oakville on the YouTube channel of the JVI Sports Network in 10 minutes. Stick with us. Welcome back to the President's Cup here at the Toronto Rock Athletics Centre in Oakville, Ontario. Day 2 is underway as we have 20 minutes to play in the opening game of Day 2. Night 5, the Miners lead the Tomahawks over on the red rink. It's 6-3, Muskies leading the Rivermen of Six Nations here on the blue rink. It's Jake Elliott, it's Brian Shanahan with you. And a big period here for both these teams. Muskies trying to get to 2-1, and Six Nations trying to avoid a 1-1 start here for the Ontario runners-up.
And we've talked about this. You got to be in the top 4. 7 teams in this tournament. The top 4 advance to the medal round, to the semifinals.
And you can't afford to get behind the 8 ball here early in the tournament. Let's play some lacrosse. We're underway in the third period. And I think a 2-1 start here for the Muskies after the schedule and the start that they've had, they'd take that in a hurry.
They would be thrilled. And I just peeked at the schedule ahead. They don't play till 8 o'clock tomorrow, so they will get a good break after this game.
Somebody keep an eye on Joe Hall with that amount of time in between games. That's all I can say. Don't let him out of your sight. And Six Nations with a stop on defense. And now the offense with their first crack here in the third period. And this opening 5 minutes going to really tell the tale here, I think, how this period is going to go. Daymid with a confident stop to start his period.
Yeah, and that second period was like 2 very different periods. The first 10 minutes was all Muskies, last 10, Six Nations. It was a 2-2 period overall.
Joe Hall stripped by a nice check there from Martin. And the Rivermen get it right back without a shot on goal from the Muskies. As in comes Rivera. He's got one of the 3 here for the Rivermen. Good chance off the crossbar, may have been off the post as well, right where the 2 meet. And a good chance there for Lane Smith, who's been dangerous. But unable to beat the red iron there. Goddard, who's also got one. There's now Hill. Feet to the crease, and oh man, that one got past his intended recipient and almost ended up in the net.
Watching Lane Smith play out there, I think he's a player that you never want to play his stick. You got to play the body on that guy.
There's a turnover on Stats, who threw it away, and that's another nice defensive effort from Martin. The Muskies haven't generated much offensively here a couple of minutes in. And the Rivermen are going to press with everything they can here as they got another game coming up as well. And if they drop this one here this morning, then the pressure really ramps up on them for the night game as well.
I just got fooled by a whistle in the other rink with 3 seconds left on the shot clock.
Careful.
And hopefully, the players, it doesn't affect the players out here.
And it's actually, 3 teams will play 2 games here today. As here comes a penalty against Six Nations as Ron Harris might have sold that one a little bit. A chance for Skylar Thomas, and he can't get it around Holichuk, who starts the third period here after coming in relief of Dustin Hill. But Tuscarora and Oakville will play later today, so the Tomahawks will play 2, the Rivermen will play 2, as they will play the Miners here later today. And of course the Miners are playing this morning, so Miners get 2 in on your Monday here at the President's Cup as well.
Oh.
But good to get your 2-a-days out of the way early in the week.
I agree.
Right?
I think the Muskies will be happy, especially if they can come out from with a win here. I think they will be happy with the schedule the rest of the way.
And Oakville will play their double dip tomorrow. Mind you, they'll play the morning and then the night game as Keogh denied. And a shot from the slot as Thomas will draw another call here on Six Nations. And this was the last thing that the Rivermen could do in this situation.
Now, the ball's turned over now, but are you of the mind that they should shoot right away when you're going to get a 5-on-3?
You know what? When you they take the penalty time down for some reason. It's not up on the Six Nations side of the scoreboard right now, so I'm not exactly sure how much time in the original penalty, but
well over a minute.
yeah,
for
so
sure, yeah.
I would say no. In that situation, you work that possession and try and look for a good shot, because there's no guarantee you're going to score on the 4-on-3 or the 5-on-3 anyway. So if you can find a good look there, that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I just don't like to see them passing the ball around looking for the perfect play.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But they still don't have. So I don't know how much time is left in the first penalty. They don't put it up on the clock. There's Rezateris down to the crease. Harris out there. One more. Thomas skip feed, didn't get through cleanly. 15 on the shot clock for Thomas. 2024 in the Flatlands in British Columbia. Look forward to that. As Goddard had his shot blocked, Deacon will adjust the helmet. Look out as he gets hammered along his own bench as it goes out of play.
Great job by Goddard to get.
And Deacon was trying to, I think his chin strap was undone, so he was trying to scoop a loose ball and do up his chin strap at the same time, and just couldn't control it. Feet in front. And good chance there, but through the crease, first to touch on Six Nations.
Yeah, Six Nations at this point in the game is definitely looking like a team who's
energy.
been through the battles, you know.
Now they know how to grind here.
They're composed, yes.
No question about it, and obviously a little fresher as well. But that's why the Muskies needed to have this lead coming into the third period to try and nurse this thing home. And, you know, all this with Rezateris being as quiet as he's been in this game, I think this is a good sign. As Firth bounces one out of play, but they're going to say off of Holochuk and keep it here with the Muskies.
Yeah, just
but if
one
they can
goal.
win a game where Rezateris doesn't score, like that's huge.
He got one.
That's
the one
right.
goal.
My bad.
But still, he has not been a huge factor in this game.
Yeah, dominant, like he can be. We're talking over 100 points in the National Lacrosse League. Feet of the crease, Keogh.
Oh, no, call that crease.
Man, replay, please. Can we get a look at that? Steve Keogh on the crease. Looked like he had one easily.
Yeah, I thought that was an extra pass by Rezateris. I was surprised he didn't take the shot, but
it won't count. And it remains 7-5. And here comes Rivera. Good stick check there. That was the old Kyle Rubis job there. And they'll call interference here on Six Nations, as that was Brian Rice.
Oh, there's the replay. Yeah, it does look like it.
I'm just gonna start agreeing with the official no matter what moving forward here. I think that's 0 for 5 this week so far. I mean, we do have a tough angle as I try and dig myself out a little bit, but still. Just trust those guys down there in black. Firth got a step, can't get a shot off, and he'll run out of time on the shot clock.
And you see the Muskies, a couple of, their players running to the bench early, late in the shot clock.
Responsible.
They're going to want to make sure not to be giving up any more transition.
Well, I think that's the message, is just no transition. Play 5-on-5 defense, let our goaltender do his thing, and if they do that, they feel like anyways that this game is theirs for the taking. But if they start giving up transition or go to the penalty box, then they'll find themselves in a little bit of trouble.
And what you were saying earlier, I agree. I think they still got to play to score.
Yeah. 7 might not be enough here. I think 8 gets it done, though. So one more here for the Muskies should seal this one, I kind of feel like, but we shall see.
Yeah, there's no relaxing with a 2-goal lead.
And here come the Rivermen in transition, 3-on-2 if they want it. Rivera, Magnum on him, and might want to move that ball, young man.
Yeah. He's taking away some time and space.
Now he's got it behind the goal, and then he lost it into the crease. And lucky to evade a delay a game call there, because he knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah.
You know you're not allowed to reach in the crease. He still did it. So we're approaching the stretch drive here in this morning game. Thanks for hopping up early if you're on the West Coast. And Hope you're enjoying your morning if you're here on the east. As there we go from the outside.
Who took that shot? Was that?
I think that was Atwood.
I think it was.
Chris Atwood.
And that was a very nice shot and a very timely. As we said, they don't want to shut things down offensively yet.
Just used a couple of bodies as a screen.
Yeah, a couple bodies,
side.
but it's just that's just a great shot. And, again,
That's
talk
a big
about
goal.
the righties. I really like the offense, the righties on their offense between Atwood, Keogh, Resitaris, and Vaughn. And Vaughn as well. They're lots of shooting power from them.
Muskies
Vaughn
with
Harris,
the ensuing face-off as well with Nate Woods. So a possession after the goal here for Snake Island as we go under 5 minutes. And now a 3-goal lead once again.
Would you agree, this is where you want to use the full 30?
Oh, yes. No question about it. Here's Resitaritz. Flip to Harris. The dart, the shot, had a stick checked. And here comes Martin with Atwood back.
Oh, they got bodies.
They got numbers. Right in. Scores! Wayne Hill in transition. And it's a 2-goal game once again.
Not your typical transition player, Wayne Hill, 265 pounds, but again, this is exactly what the Muskies didn't want. I think it was Keogh took the shot, was deflected. Or
watch out for the glass and behind the net there.
Yeah, really. You don't want to be sitting there. But that's what you don't want to do offensively if you're Muskies. Leave rebounds for transition opportunities. You want to control that a little more.
Ball's moved early, Six Nations ball. And here come the Rivermen down 2 with 4:20 to play. Smith, swim move, gets to the crease, help comes. Deacon stretches out like a scarecrow to block that shot. We got an injured Muskie in behind the play. We'll get back to his feet here. Six Nations wants possession for the stoppage with the injury. They're certainly not getting the ball, but they will face it off at center here, I think.
Okay, yes, you're right.
So I think they were trying to employ their teammate to get up at the Muskies bench, knowing that they would give up possession if they didn't. But they will face it off here at center, as Hulls and Corbett will duel in the small circle with 4:06 to go in this 2-goal Muskie lead.
Muskies playing it safe, 3 guys back.
And Hulls wins it cleanly. Rice will come on ahead with Martin stalking him from behind. Here comes the double. Rice splits it. Brian Rice. And Holichuk with a good stick save.
That was a really nice play by Rice. Yet I'm sure Six Nations is happy to have the ball, have that quick shot taken.
Shots are 46 apiece. It's 8-6 Snake Island. Open look for Hill right on, and Demuth takes that high blast right off the shoulder. And now Deacon.
Nations are doing a pretty good job of the press now. They want the ball back quick. They want to force mistakes.
Well, here's the other thing. No 8-second clear here. You can just take your time getting the ball across center, especially with a 2-goal lead here late in the period. It just forces the issue with the rules to speed up the game. Chance here for Jake Rice. That shot blocked. And back we come with Corbett with 3 to play. And Magnum is some kind of piece of business on the back end. He is violent back here. And this is kind of a tournament right up Luke Magnum's alley, the President's Cup, where you can kind of get away with a little extra stuff behind the play and what have you.
Oh, that Nations got away with a hold there.
Tried to sell it, I think, there. And Halls tried to hook the ref who wasn't biting. As Hewitt, pressured by Martin, will get across the line. He'll get a little pick there from Joe Hall. And they'll take it in behind the goal with Squire right on him. 8 on the shot clock. And they'll just take it deep in the corner and start to make changes here early as a shot wide of the goal. but they use up the full 30. And now just over 2 minutes remains. Holochuk to the Six Nations bench. Empty net now for the Rivermen. As out they come, 6 attackers. And a save for Damoud, a loose ball up for grabs. As a couple of Rivermen and a couple of Muskies go after it here in the corner. They do not reset the shot clock, and now they will with 1 second to go in it. And that's the right call, as Damoud clearly made a stop, but there's no possession here. And there hasn't been since he made the save.
And Briar Jonathan's doing a great job in there.
Incredible.
I don't know. Can he kill 30 whole seconds in the corner there?
He doesn't need to. There's no possession here for either team.
Oh, that's right.
Even though they are running the shot clock here, there has not been a possession. And all the while, the time, Briar Jonathan playing without a helmet right now. Wow. What a shift there for Briar Jonathan. That's old school.
That is.
No helmet in the middle of a scrum, just mucking that ball. There must have been a full minute come off the clock there with that ball.
And he is exhausted as he makes his way to the bench. You can see him huffing and puffing.
Unreal.
Now he's got to be Stan's grandson, I would say.
I believe so, and I think
the great Stan Jonathan.
The Muskies just got a timeout here as well. They're going to get possession out of all of that after killing off a minute. They got the ball.
I really didn't see how they got the ball, but I did see they called the timeout, so that'll make things pretty difficult for Nations. But Nations have done a good job of the full court press. Well, let's watch in the corner to see if we can see.
Watch the helmet come off here of Jonathan.
Man,
it's already off.
That's a lot of bodies.
And Corey Bomberry, some kind of hot on the Six Nations bench, thinking there should not have been a reset, or maybe there should have been, and he didn't get one.
It sure isn't clear, on that replay, that the Muskies got the ball, unless they called, some type of illegal play against Nations. I didn't see anyone come out with the ball.
So 65 seconds is what remains. They keep Holochuk in the net here, and I'm not sure about this down 2 with a minute to go and the ball deep in the other end.
Now, I guess is Damoud an option to pass to? Doesn't look like it. He went back in his net.
I don't think he needs, especially without the 10-second call here. Hewitt, he can just turn around and run backwards again if he wants.
Yeah, this is where I'm not really sure why not. They're not using the whole floor.
And now he turned it over. And are we going to get a penalty? Six Nations will call a timeout.
Job.
And they will get possession here with 49 seconds to go now.
Yeah,
and if I'm Hewitt, when I get to center, just turn back and run towards your own net again.
Yeah, or you look for a teammate who's back in your own end.
There's no reason to force it up into the offensive zone and run yourself into a double there. And he's got to know that. But it's coming right down to it here on day 2 between these two. As it's a 2-goal lead for the Muskies, trying to hang on here in their 3rd game of the tournament and go 2-1. And try and drop the Rivermen to 1-1.
The 2-goal lead makes things a little bit easier for the Muskies. Six Nations has to score quick.
And the Muskies, I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, Shane, but I think they've had the advantage in the face-off dot as well.
Yeah.
Not that anything's guaranteed in the small circle.
No, I think you're right. I think Halls has done very good on the face-off dot.
Well, big finish coming. Holochuk to the bench now as they bring out Rivera. They got Elijah Brown out there, Riley Johnson, Lane Smith, Goddard, and here we go. Pass off, skip feed, and Rivera on the quick stick. Damoud across in time, and then it's off a Riverman sticking out. And a chance now to milk this one home or go for the empty net.
Yeah,
they won't do that.
This is where they got to move the ball around and use the whole floor.
And they will do just that. And about 3-second differential between game clock and shot clock. And Damoud, a confident thrower of the ball, will step out of his crease here and just run this thing down. This game's over. The Muskies will prevail over the Rivermen here with an 8-6 final. and move their record to 2-1, and now we'll have a significant amount of time off after a tough tournament schedule to start. The Rivermen are right back in action tonight against the Miners, who will have to get an update from over on the Red Rink here on what the score is here. But before we get to that, Shannon, give me your players of the game here for both teams.
Rivera for Six Nations, and I think Brian Rice.
I like it.
I think Brian Rice. I think he's got a couple of goals. You know, I feel bad. I never give it to the defensive players, even though I was a defensive player myself.
It's always tough to give it to a guy. I think Nick Damu could be in consideration for that. But Brian Rice actually playing in a transition role here today, Shannon. You know, although he did have some production up front, he was predominantly coming out of the back end today. But we shall see as handshakes at the end of this one.
Yeah, I'd go with Brian Rice and Rivera for Six Nations. We'll see.
And pretty nice performance from the other goaltender in Troy Holochuk as well. You remember, it was, 5-1, 6-1? And then,
I think he just let in a couple goals.
He only let in a couple since coming into the game. And we'll see who gets the start here tonight. But that should be a heck of a game, Six Nations and the Miners coming up this evening. And
at least both of them are playing their second game against each other.
It's true, yeah.
So no real advantage for either one.
Right.
But Muskies, you know, to be 2-1 after 3 games within about 30 hours, I'm sure they'd love to be 3-0, but they've got to be happy with their record.
2:00 game will feature the defending President's Cup champion Ladner Pioneers taking on the Kahnawake Mohawks. So a good battle of 2 1-0 teams coming up next as well. Wayne Hill
also scored a couple of goals.
I don't know if that bucket hat's going to fit over the head of Wayne Hill or not, but it'll look good on him. It'll match his uniform at least. The boys from Bardown Lax.
Yep. Big man's powered his way to the net in his first goal and scored a nice transition goal to make it tight near the end.
Hewitt,
yeah.
Okay.
I think he got a goal and a couple assists as well. He had a good game, too.
Talk about a mismatch in body types right here.
Yeah.
Hewitt, very diminutive.
I'll pick Hewlett for the race and
you know what?
Bill for the fight.
That's there you go. But that's really, Shenny, what makes our game so great is that it doesn't matter what type of body type you have. You can find a way to get it done out on the lacrosse floor, whether you're big, tall, short, skinny, a little large, doesn't matter.
I'll just look at guys like Jeff Teat and
Josh Sanderson,
Josh Sanderson,
Dane Doby, and then you look at guys that are on the bigs, Dan Dawson or Peter Morgan or whoever. There's a list, a long
years
list.
back. I took my midget team up to a tournament in Orangeville, and we went in the Sanderson store, and Josh was working behind the desk, and I said that to my team.
One of the best players ever.
I said, you see that guy who looks like he's 14 years old? I said he's like the top scorer in the NLL this year.
Yeah, unbelievable. All right, that'll wrap up the 10 o'clock window here. A bit of an extended break as we're back at 2 p.m. for more President's Cup lacrosse here from the Athletic Center in Oakville, Ontario. Right here on the JVI Sports Network, free on YouTube. We'll talk to you at 2 p.m. for Pios and Mohawks. For Gary on camera, for Rachel, working the ones and twos for Brian Shanahan, I've been Jake Elliott. And for the fastest game on 2 feet, and for the Crater, we'll talk to you at 2 o'clock for more President's Cup action on JVI.
We want to thank our partners for their support of the 2023 President's Cup. Bar Down, Ice River Green Bottle Company, Gatorade, Big Chief Meat Snacks, and the Oakville Pump and Patio. Thank you for your support and helping all the competing teams as they chase the Prezi.